Well, Avatar: The Way of Water is in big trouble. Big trouble. It's in so much trouble that I have never seen the trade spin this hard ever before. With the recent deadline report on the film's budget and what it made this last weekend, well, it's no wonder. We should have seen this coming. There were signs out there, more than a few of them. Avatar could end up being somewhat of a flop. Maybe a huge flop. But I guess, according to some, that's okay. So let's dive in for some real numbers. Are you ready? Here we go. Of course, I'm going to say it this way. Avatar: The Way of Water could be a huge flop. Official numbers through Saturday and Sunday estimates are not what Disney had ordered, or probably anybody, including the theaters themselves, as, it very much underperformed. Especially considering that the newly revealed budget is as high as it actually is. But we're going to get to that in just a moment. Disney's in very deep trouble here because, based on what Valiant Renegade and WDW Pro are reporting for Wakanda Forever, this is going to only mount losses. According to them, that film may have lost as much as $100 million at the box office in its theatrical run. So when you're done here, do go check out that video and find out why, because they do a great job of exploring that. And I'll put the link down below. Wakanda isn't the only money loser that they had either, at least not this year. Disney's lost their way with all of the other Marvel offerings at the box office as well. There is a slate full of films that did not pull their weight. None of them got to $1 billion this year. In fact, Disney has surrendered not only the mainstream theatrical live action, but they've also surrendered animation as well, specifically to Universal. Again, something that Valiant Renegade has covered, and so have I. So when you throw agenda in front of earnings time and again, well, you're going to mount some huge losses. Speaking of those, we'll cite specifically that Lightyear and Strange World, well, they have just shown how far you can fall as a brand, at least as far as theatrical performance. And Disney's financial woes are on multiple fronts, that's a completely other topic that maybe we'll visit in another video. But again, it's not what we're here for. We're here for Avatar specifically. So we're going to start with the budget, as I mentioned before. The film reportedly may have cost as much as $460 million. $460 million. That's insane. If that turns out to be the actual number, that's insane. That doesn't even count the P&A. And again, I'm not getting this from like some foreign source. This is coming out of one of the trades. That means that before it's even out the door, there is nearly a $1.2 billion price tag on this film. That's nuts. Now, we're going to rewind because, previously it had been reported that the budget was around 350 to 400 million. But 460 million, wow. And even if it were at 350 million, making it one of the most expensive films ever made, I think the most expensive film ever made was one of the Pirates films. You're sitting at $1 billion all in on Avatar alone before you make $1 at the box office. That's amazing. It's also not the widest possible release. It only has 4,202 theaters, at least when it opened this weekend. Domestically, over 50,000 screens across the globe. It sits at number 29 in recorded widest releases, so it's not even in the top 10. For the year, it actually places itself behind Lightyear, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, DC's League of Super Pets, Lyle Crocodile, and Minions: The Rise of Gru. Holy cow. This is going to be bad, because this is both Disney and Cameron's fault. This film demands certain types of theaters to fully enjoy the experience, according to some, And of course, that's going to limit its initial release. You have to have a particular kind of screen, a specific kind of camera, etc., etc. And it's also still competing with another Disney film because Wakanda Forever is still out there. Actually, technically, it's still competing with Strange World. Well, not very well. I think that thing made, less than $1 million this week. But hey, it is what it is. Through Saturday, the film continued to trend downward. We were expecting some decent numbers, but as far as the projections went, Saturday night was looking at this to be 135 million domestically at the top end. Funny how we were just talking about 180 to 185 million just a few days ago. Wow, what a difference 2 days makes. Heck, Variety was even talking back then of a low end of 150. So at least they were headed the right direction. And honestly, we should have seen this coming. We really should have, because there were articles such as this one that started to creep around the edges of, well, the entertainment sphere. More of a Disney, not even a Disney sphere. It was more of a business sphere, from some of the financial side of things. So on December 16th, specifically, we get the headline from this article: Disney's new Avatar flick could lose money while why it may not matter. Why it may not matter. Really? Will the next headline say Avatar 2 may lose money, and that's a good thing? I'm waiting for that one. I'm sure Gary is too. What shocked me the most, of course, in this article is what a Wall Street analyst is saying in this article. Barton Crockett of Rosenblatt Securities said about big films specifically, and again, I thought this was originally taken out of context. He's insinuating that these big films are good as promotional vehicles for related streaming services. Dude, the streaming model has absolutely dried up and destroyed up to 3 or 4 other sources of revenue for these companies, for these studios specifically. Disney undermined some of their most lucrative revenue streams to do this whole mess. This is a folly, and it was driven forward by Bob Iger and a few other people who just didn't see the road in front of them. All they wanted was more control and to strip away revenue from successful entities that were, again, adding to their bottom line. And I'm looking at Netflix right now. Of course, this isn't the only financial mind in this article that's being quoted. This is Jessica Ehrlich from B of A stating, in fact, that if the movie does well, it could drive revenue streams for Disney. And if it doesn't do well, there could be a potential write-down. That's not glowing support, is it? When the dust started to settle, as it finally has today, we get our full weekend projected. And again, we won't really have the true official dollar-to-dollar numbers until probably Tuesday, but these numbers are going to surprise no one. They really aren't. Avatar 2, The Way of the Water, and this is a headline, Avatar, The Way of Water splashes out with 435 million global opening, including the international box office. That's much lower than we were being told. Still in the wheelhouse, still kind of in the middle, but much lower than anticipated. And for context, and I can't believe publications are trying to sell this right now or pull this BS, however you want to look at that. The worldwide opening reps the 3rd highest global weekend posted by any Hollywood film during the, and I hate this, pandemic era. So it's just behind Doctor Strange's Mom, or Doctor Strange 2, 442 million, as well as the 2nd highest global opening of 2020 to date. Okay. And all of the excuses for this film and its less than glorious open are going to focus around people not wanting to see the film in less than perfect condition. This is an attempt to sell it as having some very long legs. And it very well may have long legs, don't know. But less than perfect conditions? Really? I mean, to some extent, that may be true, but I can't remember a time personally that I waited a whole weekend to see a film I really wanted to see because I couldn't get a center seat halfway up, which is my preferred location. I think that's most people's. Also, it wasn't exactly burning up the pre-sales market at all, at least not in my area. I could have gone to see it on Saturday evening, in fact, with a choice of showtimes on a PLF in 3D. And there were only 10 seats in that theater sold out. So it's not like there wasn't plenty of room, and I wouldn't have gotten a good seat to sit in. Adding a few additional fun facts here, and you may want to track this. China didn't show up as expected. And this is a film that, finally got a glorious China release. They only managed a disappointing weekend number of $57.1 million. Now, that's just a little more than half of what they anticipated, which was over $100 million. It's not really rocking the box in China either. Maybe there's not enough premium conditions there. I don't know. Oh, and remember this. This is also a fun fact. There was a lot of clamoring around the PLF sales, and there should have been. But only 62% of the Way of Water sales for this last weekend came from those PLF formats. Premium large formats, that is. This falls below the 77% average of the previous film. And after this whole weekend, the ups and the downs of it all, the projected box office, the varying reviews from people that I trust, because some people said they liked it, some people said they didn't, and of course the revelation of a wildly out of control budget, I have come to a very simple realization. Ready? I don't care. I don't care. I have seen a lot of movies in my lifetime. I've been here for a while, and some have left a lasting impact upon me, and some have left none at all. The original Avatar had some impact, it did, but that was somewhat short-lived, and it was only sort of rekindled by the theme park offerings that Disney put in place in their Animal Kingdom theme park. They delivered 2 attractions when they had the opportunity to deliver 3, and they didn't leave themselves a lot of room for expansion there, so it's not like they're going to be able to grow that. They're just going to have to redevelop like Flight of Passage for something new. Now, I suspect that some people may feel the same way I do. I know that I suspect that I will feel about the same about this new film as well, whenever I actually feel the need to see it. There's a lot of feelings here, see, because I'm trying to play that game. Maybe I'll see it next year. I don't know. I've not been inspired so far, and I don't see a lot of other people being inspired either. So I guess maybe in reality, it may be time to accept that Hollywood overall has lost the plot. I mean, specifically Disney has, obviously, with all the numbers, but I think they've lost the public. I think they've lost their magic, and it seems like it's losing people to other interests now. And I think something new will rise up to replace it. The real questions are all for you. Have you or do you plan to see this movie? It's a good question. If you have not seen it yet, is it because of the lack of perfect conditions? Did you enjoy the film if you did see it? Because I'd like to know that as well. And are you going to see it again? Which to me is a telltale sign of whether something's going to do well or not. And finally, will this film make the $2 billion that it reportedly needs to make, according to James Cameron himself? Based on this budget, it better do $2 billion or it's screwed. Holy cow. Anyway, those are good questions, I think, and I'm sure that it's going to spark a firestorm of conversation in the comments section below. Let's see if we can predict some outcome here, because I think that I think that we're pretty good at that, and it seems like we're getting good at picking out the winners and losers, and this one may not be the winner it's supposed to be or it needs to be. So with that, be sure to support other independent creators here on the platform. I've mentioned a couple during the course of this video, and I'll mention one more, Odin from OMB Reviews, because I think between myself, Valiant, Pro, and Midnight's Edge, and Odin, you're going to get some pretty decent guesses at some numbers that turn out to be somewhat close. We'll also get some wild conversations about profitability and whether or not this film will get there. So by supporting them, and obviously being subscribed, hitting the bell for notifications, commenting, hitting the like button on the things that you enjoy, and sharing out the videos you love, you can help all of us grow. And that's the most important thing. And with that, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, Merry Christmas. And don't forget to check out my Rumble at rumble.com/CultureCasino.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.